All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders. This is Abdurrahman from FXAlTareeq, and this is what's on my Forex radar today. Let's start off with the Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD, this is a trade in which I am in. It looks like the Aussie did on Friday take a little bit of a hit, both on the Aussie US dollar and the Aussie CAD, and we are sitting below our entry point. Nothing else to comment on this particular trade. We're still inside the box, and it looks like we're going to be inside that box for quite some time. Let's go over to the Euro cable, Euro Great Britain. Here, as I mentioned before, on this particular trade, I wanted to get in because we had a trend line break that was off of this levels here, and I wanted to get back in. And what had happened was, during the previous day on Thursday, it spiked up off of some Great Britain news from Governor Kearney, and then it has now, as I mentioned before, watch this candle, it went up and then retraced back down, offering us a good entry point to get in on this particular candle. And let's see what happens on retrace Monday. If we get some retrace on there, and then a good entry point for us to get in and ride the baby down. So Great Britain, Euro Great Britain's on my list, but mostly on my list, as I see here, is a nicely kangaroo tail that printed and cleared out any of the stops that were sitting down on these levels down here. Took those stops out, and now we have a kangaroo tail, which isn't a real kangaroo tail, because this bearish candle here is obviously much bigger than the kangaroo tail, but we would call it somewhat of a trending. With that said, I want to move over to Great Britain yen. Great Britain yen had pushed down from the trend line, and let's see what happens here. I believe this looks to be nothing more than a retracement, and we can get into a trade on these levels up here. But let's see what happens on Tuesday, because on Monday the Japanese will have a chance to get a little bit of retribution on what took place on the NFP on Friday. So look for them to come back and do some of their monkeyness on Monday, and let's see how this particular candle does close. In fact, let's move over to the New Zealand US dollar. Looks to be a whammy double bottom setting up here. We're looking for a bullish candle to print for us to bring us back into this particular trade. Good setup here. Cleared out the lows on this side, closed above the zone barely, but it did close. Let's look for a bullish candle to print. And last but not least, I have the Great Britain Swissy, printed a kangaroo tail, nicely well done. Would love to have seen it clear out the lows here. Let's see what takes place on this particular candle on Monday. Again, watch for some action to take place during the Asian session, because they were not in on the NFP news release of all of the pips that were captured. 220 pips that was done on Friday. So look for some retracement on this one on Monday and Tuesday as well. These are the daily charts that I have seen and covered. I would come up with a new video on the weekly charts in just a moment. With that said, have a magnificent day on purpose.